Okay, guys, so this is going to kind of go over writing equations and what to look for in some word problems for linear equations. So this one says Mike wants to start a lawn mowing company. He normally charges $10 per acre. Before going, he gets $8.50 in gas. Write an equation that represents his profit for mowing X number of yards. So in writing a linear equation, I'm looking for a rate, slope. So I can see right here that it says $10 per acre. It says, so if he's going to make $10 per acre, I can say 10x. So the $10 is per acre. So he's going to earn that. So we're going to say that his profit is Y. So he's going to earn $10 for every acre. Now, is that all that's going to happen? Well, before he goes mowing, he gets $8.50 in gas. So I'll ask, is the $8.50 going into his pocket or is he spending it? So because he's spending it, he's actually losing $8.50 in gas. So here's my equation. I have my profit, and then, which is here, I have my slope or rate, and then I have my X for number of yards. So it says, how much profit will he make if he takes a job mowing 10 acres? Okay, so he's going to mow 10 acres. So was 10 acres his profit or X? So I'm going to say that it's $10 per acre. So that lets me know that that's X. So if he mows $10 per acre, subtract the $8.50, then I can go right in here and put, okay, so he's going to mow 10 acres. So then I'm going to say Y equals 10 times 10, which is 100, minus $8.50. And so then he would make, what, $91.50? Okay. So then it says how many acres would he need to mow if he wanted a daily profit of $100. So we can kind of estimate from our answer here that he needs another yard, so it would be 11. And so, but if this was a number not close to that, I would take this 100, and instead this is his profit. So this would go in for Y instead. And then I would solve this equation. All right, so then how would I go about that? Well, if you go back from moving this, I would move this over and solve this equation. So I need to cancel it on the side that it's on. So this would be $108.50. And that would equal 10x. And then I would divide by 10. So this would actually be 10.85 acres. So then we have to think about the question, and it says how many would he need to mow if he wanted to make a daily profit of $100? Well, he can't necessarily maybe mow 10.85 acres. He might be able to, because not everybody has an acre of land. So what I would say is, if the question stipulated, if this was an option, okay, if it says round to the nearest acre, then we would say he has to mow 11 acres to make the $100 profit. All right, let's look at another one. Oh. Okay. So now this says Tara's going to babysit for 2 hours for $25. Or she will babysit a 7-hour day for $75. Write an equation in Y equals mx plus b form representing her profit for X number of hours babysitting. Well, there's a problem here because if you use this equation, you have to have a slope and a y-intercept. So we know 3 ways to find a slope. We can find slope from 2 points. We can find slope from a table. And we can find slope from a graph. Well, I don't see a graph or a table, so I'm going to look to see if there's 2 points here. So let's say X is the number of hours. So, okay, so 2 hours would be X. And so then her profit would be $25. Okay? So then, or she'll maybe sit a 7-hour day for $75. Does that make 2 points? Okay. So then we go back to finding our slope. So from 25 to 75 is 50, and from 2 to 7 is 5. Some of you are still writing your slope upside down. We know this is the change in y's over the change in x. So this would be 50 divided by 5, and so that would be 10. So she's essentially making $10 an hour. So we could say y equals 10. Now go back, or 10x, I'm sorry, go back and use what we've always done in the past. We've said, okay, so then if she makes $10 per hour, that's 10 times 2 hours, that's 20, then I need to get to 25. So for some reason she's making a bonus of $5. Maybe that's for showing up. You know, if she drives to your house, she's going to charge you $5 before she even gets started. So then we're going to see if that works, and we're going to say 7 times 10 is 70, plus 5 is 75. So I'm 100% sure that this equation works, because I've tested it with both points and it works. So now we look at a different situation. It says the small filling station pays $7.50 an hour for a nighttime clerk. To up the benefit, they now offer a $45 hiring bonus. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that represents the small filling station pay. Again, I need a slope. So it's what is changing? Is it the $45 that's changing each time, or is it the $7.50 that's changing? Well, because it's $7.50 an hour, it's changing with every hour. This is my slope. So I know that y equals $7.50 per hour. And we can make that an h if we want to, if that helps us. Now, we have to decide if the 45 is a positive 45 or a negative 45. So are you putting that 45 in your pocket, or are you paying that $45 out? Well, because it's a hiring bonus, if I were hired making $7.50 an hour, I would also get that $45. So then this would be my equation, and it would be plus 45. Okay? Let's look at just one more situation here. It says Mike wants to start a lawn mowing company. He normally charges $10 per acre. Before going, he gets $8.50 in gas. That is the same question we just had. So let me see if I can get the other one here. It must be a glitch in my iPad. All right. Okay. So here is the one that I wanted to do with you. So Tim compares prices at the local video store. Popcorn sells video games at the price of $10 each. If you have a $20 membership, so you have to pay $10 each with a $20 membership. Not every time, the membership is only paid once. It says Games and More sells them for $15 each, but if you have a $5 membership, let's make that say membership right there. Okay, so it says write an equation representing both stores. So let's say P, or popcorn video. Let's make that one first. So it sells video games at the price of $10 each. So $10 per video. So that's the number that's changing. So y equals 10x if you have paid a $20 membership. So you're going to be charged $10 a video, and you're going to be charged a monthly one-time $20 fee. So then Games and More says they'll sell them for $15 each. So again, you're going to be paying $15 a video, but if you have a $5 membership, so a one-time $5 membership. So the question says which store is cheaper for 10 games? So since this is $10 per game and $15 per game, the 10 games is your X value. So we want to say y equals 10 times 10 plus 20. So y equals 100 plus 20, which is 120. So we're going to go over here for games and more, and we're going to say y equals 15 times 10 plus 5. So y equals 150 plus 5. So y equals 155. So for 10 games, popcorn is better. Okay. So it says which one is cheaper for 2 games? Alright, so for 2 games, we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to say 10, y equals 10 times 2 plus 20. And y equals 20 plus 20, which is 40. We're going to do the same thing over here. Y equals 15 times 2 plus 5. So y equals 30 plus 5, or 35. So for this one, we see that games and more is cheaper at 35. So something happens between 2 and 10 games in which games and more becomes more expensive than popcorn. With 2 games, games and more is more expensive. At 10 games, or less expensive. At 10 games, games and more is more expensive. So that means there has to be a place where they are the same. We also know that, but if we look at our slopes here, anytime our slopes are different, there's a place where they are the same, or where x is the same. So let's see what we find out here if we work this. Alright, so I have 2 equations, and remember that we've talked about solving systems of equations, that if there is a place where they are equal, that we can find it with substitution when they're both written in y equals form. All we have to do is take the 2 equations and set them equal. So then I'm going to solve this by canceling, just like we have been doing solving equations before. So that would be 5x. And then I'm going to move this over and say minus 5, and that would be 15. So then I'm going to divide by 5, and so x equals 5, or 3, I'm sorry. I was misreading my handwriting over there. So 3. So x is 3. So this gives me a clue that maybe at 3 games they're the same price. I'm going to try it. So 10 times 3 plus 20. Well, 10 times 3 is 30 plus 20 is $50. Okay? So over here, 15 times 3 is 45. 45 plus 5 is 50. So at 3 games, they both cost $50. And so that tells me that this is my answer. There is a number of games. Alright guys, so I hope that this helps you write equations. Remember, anytime you're asked to write an equation as y equals mx plus b, you have to have a slope. So 2 ways that you can find a slope is from 2 points, like 2, 6 and 3, 7. You could also find the slope if you are given the graph that we talked about before. You can also find the slope if you are given a table. So for instance, if this was your table, my slope here would be 6. This is going up 6 every time, and this is going up 1. So the slope here would be 6 over 1, or 6. Alright, so here this would be 7 minus 6, which would be 1, and then 3 over 2, which would be 1. So my slope here would be 1. So this would be 1x, and then 1 times 2 is 2. Get me to 6 would be plus 4. Over here, I would say y equals 6, and then 6 times 1 is 6. So this would just be y equals 6x, and I wouldn't need a y-intercept there. So these are ways that write an equation, but to do so, you have to have one of these things. So in reading a word problem, you look, did they give me the slope already by saying something like $10 per hour? Or did they give me 2 points in which I have to find the slope? So one of those situations can occur, and just be sure that when you're reading the word problems that you pay close attention to that. I hope this helps.